Yo, what's good, everybody? Sorry for the hold up. It is your boy Tony the Savant back again, and welcome to another episode of the Real MVP Sports Show. Now rebranded to the Late Night Sports Show. I had to kind of wait to get busy until the kids go down to for their sleep. So, welcome everybody. Before we get started, though, if y'all don't mind, uh, subscribe to the channel. Just hit the little button right there that says subscribe. We get real busy on this platform. I'm dropping content daily, going live daily. So just want to make sure y'all don't miss nothing. Any updates that I get, I go live as soon as possible and let everybody know. Hit the like button if you don't mind. Share the video, as that does help get the video in the algorithm, of course. Hit the notification bell. Share this video. Oh, we already said that. I tripping, dog. Don't you try to get on my professionalism, man? Don't hit me and drop a comment if y'all don't mind below. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. I'm very interested and intrigued what you all think about the topics that we discuss. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get busy. As we're gonna have a bit of a continuation from the morning show, the one-on-one morning show. If you missed that, I just reshared the link in a few groups. So make sure y'all pull up and see that. As we kind of started NBA free agency at that time. And so now we're going to kind of get through all of the news and updates that's gone down today. And some of this stuff was not, some of these transactions had not happened when we initially went live and talked about free agency this morning. So let's get busy. Let's talk about it. Before we do that, though, I'm tripping. We got to talk about these Los Angeles Lakers. Of course, they always in the news. Everybody keeping up with their every move, but let's keep it a buck, man. The Lakers are embarrassing themselves. I just read an article. All right, and the headline of the article is Lakers sign their first big free agent. Um, and that's literally what it says. They sign their first big free agent. And ladies and gentlemen, do you know this alleged free agent was none other than Max Christie? That's right. The what is he? Sophomore or was his third year in the league? That guy, Max Christie. They signed him to a 4-year, $32 million deal, which is essentially like 8 million, which is crumbs, because LeBron James it has said that he's not going to take that alleged pay cut that we reported about earlier. Hold on, I think I did I even post that video. I reported on it, but I think I forgot to post the video. So excuse me if I sound a little distracted. I'm gonna post that while we're doing the show. But anyway, yeah, man. I feel like that's very embarrassing. The Lakers are they're so far from what they used to be. It's sad. You know what I mean? You think about the Jerry Buzz days, you think about the Kobe and Shaq days. We are so far removed from those glory days to now the Lakers just, literally making father son combinations to make quote unquote history, as if winning uh Banners 18 isn't history. You know what I mean? As if LeBron James retiring where he's already at in his career. That would be historic. LeBron James has done a lot in his time in the NBA. So adding a father son combination is just like all my children. It reminds me of my grandma's soap operas that she used to be watching. We'd get up in the morning on them days that you didn't have school, and the soap operas, the soaps she used to call them. I gotta watch my soaps. The soaps used to always come on around that funny time when you had already gone off to school. You know what I'm saying? Because while you was at the crib getting ready, it was probably the morning news on. But right when you went off to school, so you really never really caught the soaps unless you missed some school, and then you start seeing, what your grandma, what your moms did while you was at school. Those soap operas is what the Lakers remind me of now. As far as these headlines that they're going for, Rob Pelinka actually came out of his mouth and said that they drafted Bronny James to achieve this quote unquote history. Which I guess, you know what I mean? I guess I'm caught in the middle of all this hoopla, all this nonsense. I wouldn't call this quote unquote history, or if you want to call it history, it's not relevant to anything um, that the NBA should be about, which is winning and competition. But I've had a number of people tell me in the comment sections on my platforms, they boohooed me to death. They told me that this is something special, allegedly. Um, when will we ever see this again? It's like, bro, we wasn't supposed to see this in the first place. Let's be honest. LeBron James has been essentially out of his prime and kind of respectfully, what I'm saying, been trash. The media keeps propping him up like he's doing something special or he's really hanging with the top talent, but he's not. He definitely isn't. If nothing else is evident of that, you can see it in his production on the Lakers, the end results. You're not gonna get far with a 40-year-old dinosaur being the centerpiece of your offense. It's just not gonna happen. It don't look good for TV. And so I don't really understand what the Lakers are trying to do. But once I read that article that Max Christie is their first big free agent signing, I knew the Lakers had fallen from grace. I mean, that's like officially. It's been so many telltale signs of the Lakers falling from grace. It's kind of hard to pinpoint one thing at this point. Drafting Bronny James and making a big hoopla of it, you know what I mean? Would this be something Jerry Buss would have allowed? Would this be something that Kobe Bryant would have allowed? Let's be a buck. Kobe Bryant would not have allowed this. Respectfully, you know what I mean. I'm not trying to talk down on anything that's going on. If you feel like this is special, if you feel like this is history, respectfully to you, I think that's exclusive to the LeBron sexuals. I think the real NBA fans are out here, look, what matters to them is the Boston Celtics going to repeat, or are the Lakers going to do something about them winning the championship? Because it's just, in the natural DNA of the NBA, when the Celtics win, the Lakers are supposed to re-up and supposed to be beaming for a championship. That's just what we've been accustomed to the last 50 years now. So I give it 40 years to go with the Magic and the Bird era. But, like again, saying that Max Christie is your first big free agent signing. And I was gonna read the article, y'all, but it's just it's just too embarrassing. It's just disgusting. It kind of pained me to even see that the Lakers have fallen this far, from the Jerry Buss days, the Showtime Laker days, the Kobe and Shaq days, and even the Kobe days, the Mamba days, just when him and Paul Gasol was going out there getting chips. We're a long way from there, y'all. We're a long way from Kansas, that's for sure. But kind of segues into the next headline. And I made a YouTube short about this when I heard about it. But Phil Handy, the famous Lakers assistant coach, has turned down the offer from the Lakers to return as an assistant coach to JJ Redick. And I 100% love this because not to hate on the Lakers, not to hate on LeBron, but they did Darvin Ham dirty, man. Let's go back to that podcast. We could go back even a little further than that. After they won that silly in-season tournament, the Lakers was on their little high horse, riding high, acting as if they won a championship. They went on a skid. I think they lost like they went like 2-9 or 2-7, something like that. Soon thereafter, winning that goofy in-season tournament, and all of a sudden, Darvin Ham was on the hot seat. Darvin Ham went from a decent coach that just came off a successful NBA season with the with him getting the Lakers to the Western Conference Finals, to being on the hot seat for losing a couple games. All of a sudden, he had no control. I mean, I wouldn't say he didn't have control over the locker room, but it was reports coming out that he was losing the locker room, and it was just really sad to see. In the long run, to tell the truth. Because I'll say this: I seen Darvin Ham, excuse me, as a good coach. I've seen him coach up the Lakers when LeBron and AD was sitting out or injured, whatever they had going, and he absolutely coached those guys up, and it's crazy. I just got a little notification, but anyway, I've seen Darvin Ham do good things, and very impressive things as a head coach, first time head coach himself. But he had skin in the game. He had been a NBA player himself, had worked his way up in the coaching ranks. I'm not positively sure how he got the job with the Lakers, but at the end of the day, nobody had a fuss about it because it was merited. Darvin Ham was, again, a respected individual in the NBA circles. And I believe that's another reason why Phil Handy turned down this Lakers, opportunity, because how they did Darvin Ham, Phil Handy may, very well understand and see the writing on the wall. If LeBron James and AD feel like throwing tantrums, then he'll be the next Darvin Ham. We all know that eventually JJ Redick, his head would be on the swivel, because the Lakers will falter. There's going to be plenty of, the headlines about it when they go on when they lose one game or two games. You'll hear about it. JJ Redick's head will be on the swivel, like I said, and we'll see what happens from there. How long JJ Redick is able to survive the LeBron James circus. Hold on one second, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize. Just trying to get this linkity link shared. Apologize. Yeah. But anyway, Phil Handy turns down that Lakers job to be an assistant coach to JJ Redick. Shout out to him. Another thing, how is LeBron James such a good, wonderful man? And he got a black man fired. Let's be 100%. Got a black man fired to get this scumbag JJ Redick hired. JJ Redick has some disgusting things on his jacket, some serious accusations out here. I reported on them before. I don't want to go into too much detail about it. I'm not going to be one of those messy reporters that, just digs into these guys' personal lives. But if it reaches the surface, I'll definitely inform the people. JJ Redick has some very distasteful things on his resume, and some distasteful accusations on his name right now. And so I don't really understand why LeBron James would choose this dude of all people to, one, do a podcast with, and then two, endorse to be an NBA coach. It just does not make much sense to me. I ain't saying I'm the smartest guy in the world, but it's gotta add up. One and one gotta at least make two. So I don't understand how JJ Redick got this opportunity to be the head coach. Again, I don't understand how LeBron James deduced him to being a good podcast partner. But again, this is just another one of these shrewd, idiotic decisions by LeBron James. His bronsexuals, a legion of fans will act as if none of this is his fault. And eventually it'll all be brushed under the rug. But we all know this is LeBron James playing puppeteer, and he needs to be held accountable. Sorry, guys. But on to the next topic. Speaking of LeBron James, this is going to segue us into free agency. If you haven't heard, Klay Thompson has signed with the Dallas Mavericks and will be he signed with the Dallas Mavericks for a 3-year, $50 million deal. And there was reports out there that said LeBron James had contacted Klay Thompson, or at least called him, and was, I guess, recruiting them to the Lakers. But if you know LeBron James, Rich Paul, you know how it goes uh, with those characters. They were saving this big spot that LeBron James wanted, as far as him wanting an impact player. He wanted a guy from Clutch Sports, quite naturally. So I knew that Klay Thompson probably more than likely would not have landed with the Lakers. But there was reports that LeBron James had, called Klay Thompson and tried to recruit him to the Lakers, and Klay Thompson turned him down, man. He turned him down. Another. It's been so many instances and incidents we can point to where these dudes don't want to play with LeBron, man. LeBron James, again, is a propaganda machine, driven superstar. I don't know why the media has put all of their eggs behind this dude, but they have. Again, trying to sell him as the next Michael Jordan, the next Magic Johnson, the greatest thing since sliced bread, and he does not back that up for him. All of that praise they heap on him. This dude does not back it up for those people. So at the same time, I understand why Klay Thompson does not want to play with this clown, and I believe this is the second or damn near third or fourth time that Klay Thompson has dissed LeBron James in free agency. At least the second time I can remember that he's dissed him in regards to coming to LA to the Lakers, because I believe at one point LeBron James was trying to get him to come to Cleveland as well. So it's just it's beautiful to see Phil Handy, excuse me, Coach Phil Handy, respectfully, because another thing I wanted to mention about about Phil Handy, he wanted to be a head coach, man, and LeBron James did not endorse Phil Handy, his quote unquote guy, right? You know what I mean? So much so that he bought Phil Handy over from the Cavs to the Lakers with him when he came to LA. But that's not your guy enough to get him the head coach job when Phil Handy had made it a mention of it, I believe last year, around in the season time. He made a mention that he wanted to be a head coach. He was tired of being an assistant coach. And LeBron James went and got JJ Redick over Phil Handy. That's crazy, bro. It's crazy work. But anyway, yeah, Klay Thompson has dissed LeBron James as well. We all know, the famous story of Kawhi Leonard dissing LeBron James to go play for the Clippers. We're gonna talk about those Clippers in a minute. Paul George has dissed LeBron James. Klay Thompson again. Kyrie Irving has dissed LeBron James. He, elected not to play with him. It's just how many times these guys got to tell you. KD told y'all it's a circus around this dude. You know what I mean? If you play with him, be ready to be blamed for everything, and be ready to take none of the praise. No matter how hard you work, it's always a circus around them. So, no telling that the real guys around the league with some cachet want nothing to do with LeBron James, and another failed attempt for this dude to recruit all of the talent to his team. I don't know why he would want to play with Klay Thompson. I mean, I do know why, on the surface level, the skill set that Klay brings to the table. But Klay Thompson is one of your rivals, bro. Respectfully, he's one of your rivals. I don't see why you're trying to recruit all of your frenemies. Because you put Klay Thompson's headstone on the cake. Y'all remember that? He put Steph Curry's and Klay Thompson's headstones on the cake. Now you're trying to get the man to come play with you. LeBron James is a funny dude. He's a funny dude in all his ways, man. But that's it for that topic, the Lakers segment. Anyway, sorry to ESPN, y'all, but I felt like those topics had to been reported on because y'all know that when they report on the Lakers, it's always going to be skewed, trying to make them look good, trying to make LeBron James look good. And we got to tell the other side of the stories out here in these YouTube streets, out here in these social media streets. So just feel like those topics was very interesting. But y'all, again, before we get into NBA free agency, if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Also, hit the like button. Definitely share the video as it helps get us in the algorithm. Hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content on the channel. Last but not least, drop your thoughts and opinions on these topics that we are discussing. We get busy on this platform, a lot of conversations, and I just want to keep the ball going. So, get into our next segment. There's a couple of guys I want to talk about. Actually, a couple of articles that I was reading as well. Another couple of key guys that's been moved around. Mo Bamba, I believe he signed with the Clippers. a 2 year, a 1 year deal, excuse me. Kentavious Caldwell Pope signed with the Orlando Magics for 3 years, $66 million. Um, uh, Gary Harris signed a 2 year deal. Hold on, let me see. Check which one of the hitters is on. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. We got Klay Thompson, of course, signing with the Dallas Mavericks for the 3 year, $50 million deal. Paul George signs with the Philadelphia 76ers. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Some other guys, Mo Bamba, we talked about. Gary Harris had agreed to a 2 year, $14 million contract. Man, Gary Harris used to be one of my favorite players, man, especially on the Denver Nuggets. He used to really be a hooper, man. It's kind of sad to see him kind of fall off like this. Dallas is sending 2 second-round picks to the Golden State Warriors, one of which is its own 2030 round, 2031 second rounder. So some years away, but that guy's in seventh grade right now. That's crazy. You do the math. Goga, I don't know his name. This guy, or Orlando Magic, got a 3 year deal, 25 million. Jason Tatum, ladies and gentlemen. I forgot to put Jason Tatum on the docket. Let's put JT on the docket real quick. Has the current largest NBA contract in NBA history. He signed a 5 year, $314 million deal. Again, making him the highest paid player in NBA history. Let's put JT right there on the docket. Which is monstrous. We all knew this was coming. Jaylen Brown got the 300 million. I think he got the 304 last year. And then of course, they go on a championship run. It was much to be expected that Jason Tatum was the next in line to get paid. And kudos to the Boston Celtics for being in position to pay their star guys, not leaving it up to any speculation and free agency. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, I've always advocated for them and the core that they are. They remind me a lot of my Chicago Bulls when we was on the come up with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. And when I say that, a lot of people think I'm comparing them directly to what Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen were talent-wise. No, I'm comparing their story arcs is similar to Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen as far as being two wing players, being drafted to the same team, coming up in the woods, losing and then getting over the hump finally to be able to taste the champagne of victory. Again, their story arcs remind me a lot of Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen's, but Jason Tatum now the highest paid in NBA history, highest paid player in NBA history. We'll go into that a little further in detail down the line. The Celtics also agreed to extend Derek White early today. And now the defending champs have every member of their starting lineup under contract till at least 2025, 2026. So this next year, everybody will be under contract this year. And, I guess they'll have to work out some deals potentially next year, but everybody be locked in. Utah Jazz's Lauri Markkanen has become a prime target for teams who missed out on Mikal Bridges. So we'll see what happens with Lauri Markkanen. He comes from my Chicago Bulls, formerly a former Chicago Bull. He had flashes, I guess, very small flashes of this showcasing his talent, but he's really shown what he can do in Utah. So I'm interested to see, where he lands, how he would fit in with a team. It would be kind of crazy to see him land with Boston, because I don't know if they got the money for it, of course, but at the same time, he's always reminded me of Kristaps Porzingis. So if he could land with them under some kind of a deal and help out Kristaps, that'd be crazy as well. But Golden State is actually in the race for Lauri Markkanen, so we'll see how that works out for them. The Lakers, after striking out with three of the top five free agents this season, so far this free agency season, LeBron James has now said that he'll take the full max from the franchise during free agency. So goes that nice LeBron James, I guess, willing to take a willing to take a pay cut to land somebody. Again, they've missed out on all the guys. I guess Paul George and Klay Thompson and Chris Paul were the top three free agents, I'm assuming. And all of those guys have moved on to their new destinations. Josh Green, um, he was moved to the Charlotte Hornets in the Klay Thompson deal. Boston Celtics got Derek White for a 4-year, $125.9 million contract. Shout out to Derek White getting the bag. DeLon Rice signed a 1-year, $3.3 million with the Milwaukee Bucks. Just trying to go with people of note. It's a lot of guys. Veteran forward Tobias Harris will sign a 2-year, $52 million deal with the Detroit Pistons. I've never been high on the Tobias Harris, to be honest. I thought that he would, kind of do something in Philadelphia, linked up with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid at the time, but that flamed out terribly. And he's kind of just been a high paid. I don't know what Tobias Harris has been, man. He's getting the bags. On this deal, of course, he's not making as much as he, I guess, give or take. But at the same time, he's making a good little 25 million a year with the Detroit Pistons. I just don't understand what Tobias Harris does. You know what I mean? I see him on the court from time to time. I see him on the court, but I don't really understand what he does to contribute to a team. But anyway, free agent center Isaiah Hartenstein has agreed to sign a 3-year, $87 million deal with the Oklahoma City Thunder. The 26-year-old Hartenstein averaged 7.8 points and 8.3 rebounds and 25.3 minutes per game last season with the New York Knicks. I wonder how the Knicks are going to replace Hartenstein's size. As we know, they got Julius Randle, but he's injury prone. I honestly thought the Knicks would have gone for Zach Edey, some way, somehow in the draft, but I don't know. That's kind of funny. I don't know what the Knicks are going to do because I know they just got Mikal Bridges. They just signed OG Anunoby. So do they have money for a big that's going to help them compete again? Because they got outclassed. Essentially, Miles Turner was beating them up. That guy off the bench, Isaiah Jackson, was beating them up. The other big they got, Pascal Siakam. They was killing them in the paint. So yeah, they definitely needed Isaiah Hartenstein, but Jalen Smith, free agent center, has signed a 3-year deal, $27 million deal with the Chicago Bulls. Don't really know who that guy is. I'm not too familiar with him, but I'll check and see that. That's my squad. Oh, he comes from the Indiana Pacers we were just discussing. And last season he averaged 9.9 points and 5.5 rebounds while shooting 42% from the three. So we'll see what he can do. I'm not excited about anything the Bulls got going on right now. So Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins, key reserves for the Oklahoma City Thunder, have signed long-term extensions. Sources confirm Isaiah Joe signed a 4-year, $48 million deal, while Wiggins signed a 5-year, $47 million deal. The Thunder declined small team options on Joe, 2.1, and Wiggins, $2 million, with the intention of signing them both to longer term contracts. I like that. I think the Oklahoma City Thunder like what they did last year, being the number one seed, being a young team with a lot of talent. So I'm not mad at that. They're locking in and ready to re-up. They just signed the veteran. Well, excuse me, not signed. They traded for my boy Alex Caruso, one of my favorite Chicago Bulls. Despite how abysmal we are, I love Alex Caruso's toughness and contributions. The Philadelphia 76ers and All-Star guard Tyrese Maxey have agreed to a 5-year, $204 million maximum contract extension, sources told Woj. Maxey, 23, made his first All-Star game last season and averaged 25.9 points, 6.2 assists, 3.7 rebounds, and shot 37% from the three last season. Congratulations to Tyrese Maxey. But Paul George, right behind that, got a 4-year, $212 million maximum contract. Excuse me. But the deal, which includes a player option for 2027, 2028, brings George back to the Eastern Conference and pairs him with rising star Maxey and 2023 MVP Joel Embiid. Philadelphia 76ers also bring Kelly Oubre in on a 2-year, $16.3 million deal. Dallas Mavericks, they lock in the forward Derrick Jones Jr. Oh no, Dallas Mavericks forward and the Clippers have agreed to a 3-year, $30 million deal. Oh man, that's a big loss for the Dallas Mavericks, as I was highlighting. But we'll talk about it when we discuss Klay Thompson. Yeah, that's Najee Marshall agreed a 3-year deal, 27 million with the Dallas Mavericks. So I guess that's what they was offering Derrick Jones Jr. He turned that down. And they bought Najee Marshall over from the New Orleans Pelicans. He was a pretty serviceable player for them. So I understand that. Got to replace Derrick Jones's production. The Mavs are pursuing a signing trade. Who added that Derrick Jones decision to okay. Mason Plumlee has agreed on a 1-year deal with the Phoenix Suns. Let's see. Jonas Valanciunas has agreed on a 3-year, $30 million deal with the Washington Wizards. Valanciunas, who's 32, gives the rebuilding Wizards a veteran presence and more depth at center after they drafted French big man Alex Sarr with the number 2 pick in last week's draft. That's true. That'd be good for the Alex Sarr's development, having a veteran there, help him transition into the pros. Chris Paul will sign with the San Antonio Spurs. 1-year, $11 million deal. We discussed a little bit of that this morning. We'll talk a little bit further in a second on that one. And yeah, man. So just to have some stuff to talk about in the morning, I'm gonna kind of leave these free agency topics alone. Some of the follow up after the moves. I will say this much though. Congratulations again to Jason Tatum. Now I know that Jason Tatum wasn't the quote unquote MVP, the NBA Finals MVP wanted, everybody wanted him to be last year. But JT did his thing on the basketball court. That's no doubt. He definitely showed up. And if he would have played any less, any worse than he did, he would have been, hammered in the media. He was already receiving a lot of criticism up until the point of him winning the championship. I think it was still some snarkling in the crowd, even after him winning the championship. I'm not going to give him too much of a hard time of him, going around in the media using everybody else's, all of the famous sports quotes from their championship moments. I'm not going to, ride him too much for that. But as far as his production on the court, JT did what he had to do last year. And so, I don't think he should be the highest paid player in NBA history, by any means. He doesn't deserve that title. But he does deserve to be in Boston. He does deserve to, run it back and get his attempt to try to get a Finals MVP. Kind of do the Kobe thing, because Kobe, when he won his first championship, He didn't win the Finals MVP either. Excuse me. Kobe came back and got his in blood and got him two Final MVPs. So I believe Jason Tatum still young, 26 years old. Got the bag now, so he don't have to play with that kind of pressure on his back. But I definitely think the Boston Celtics are motivated to run it back and try to go back to back, win another championship. And I think Jason Tatum, he putting in the work. I'm hoping he is, at least to move forward and do what he got to do to get him a Finals MVP and definitely get his name into the MVP race. Period. I think that he's been kind of slighted. Jaylen Brown as well. I think Jaylen Brown has been slighted more, but Jason Tatum's slights aren't any less noticeable. I just think that Jason Tatum has a few more haters than Jaylen Brown does, respectfully. But anyway, I'm glad he got his bag. I'm glad that the Boston Celtics locked in with Derek White as well, giving him a 4-year, $125 million deal. He deserves it. He was damn near second, third, right there. Sometimes the first best player for the Boston Celtics throughout those playoff runs. So kudos to them. They locked in. Chris Paul, loving what he's going to be for the San Antonio Spurs. I'm interested to see how him and Greg Popovich, those great basketball minds, will collide and what kind of results that'll yield. Also, a lot of people aren't talking about Stephon Castle, newly drafted San Antonio Spurs guard. I love Stephon Castle because he's a very disciplined young man, offensively and defensively. He comes from good coaching with Dan Hurley in the UConn program. They just won back-to-back championships, so Stephon Castle is a freshman, so he wasn't there for the first championship run, but definitely contributed this, recent championship run. And glad to see him in the NBA now. And I'm hoping that Chris Paul's influence is positive for him, as he transitions to the pros. I'm also hoping that um, uh, Chris Paul's presence is a positive for obviously Victor Wembanyama, as Wemby will have an elite point guard that will be able to get the ball, make some entry passes, definitely make his numbers, look better. I think his numbers are going to go up. They just went up overnight with the acquiring of a guy like Chris Paul, even at 39 years old. I still believe that Chris Paul can be a floor general. Um, he was still serviceable in Golden State, as far as knowing his role as well. He didn't try to do too much or do anything outside of his comfort zone. So we'll see how this pays off for the San Antonio Spurs. Nobody's expecting the Spurs to win a championship, so it'll be a good developmental year for that team. Paul George, injury prone, not excited about him, or Joel Embiid, who's also injury prone. Both these dudes can play like NBA MVPs. When they're on their game. Of course, I would love to see them on top of their game because Philadelphia and versus the Boston Celtics or Philadelphia versus the Knicks would be very intriguing if all parties are healthy. But the problem with Paul George is that over the last 100, all his whole career, his whole career, he's been injury prone. He's fallen short, and I just don't like it, man. I don't like this signing. I don't understand why a guy like him is getting a max contract, abandoning Kawhi Leonard. And not that those two. I thought they was going to win a championship in 2020. Once they collapsed against the Denver Nuggets, I just stopped believing in that tandem altogether. But anyway, the Kawhi Leonard and Paul George tag team is finished, just like the Splash Bros tag team is finished in Golden State. So we'll see, where both of those guys go from here. Kawhi Leonard, he got the extension and he'll be moving on with the Clippers with his max deal, and also him and James Harden. Speaking of, uh, James Harden signed a 2-year, $70 million deal with not the Philadelphia, the Los Angeles Clippers. That red, white, and blue is getting me all mixed up because both teams they got both of them have the same color schemes. But yeah, James Harden, 2-year, $70 million deal. Russell Westbrook, it's looking like he's gonna move on to Denver, possibly move on to the Denver Nuggets. It's been rumors going around about that. So that's just gonna leave Kawhi Leonard and James Harden as far as them being a star duo in LA. Would that be enough for them to win a championship? I mean, both guys are injury prone. Kawhi Leonard more so than James Harden. But James Harden is more prone to have meltdowns and literally just disappear on you in the middle of a game, especially the high pressure games. James Harden never plays well underneath those circumstances. So how would that, you know, how would Kawhi Leonard be able to mesh with that? Because Kawhi Leonard is a go getter. He works hard. He wants to win. But James Harden is probably the total opposite of him. Personality wise. So we'll see how that works out. But a 2-year, $70 million deal for James Harden. And I think that's everything we got on the docket, ladies and gentlemen. I was gonna talk a little boxing, but I'm gonna say that for tomorrow. We're gonna do some boxing because we got to start getting into football season pretty soon. I kind of want to have some boxing topics to kind of carry us over into the football. I got some series going on right now with the NFL. Definitely about to get into some fantasy football content as well. So just thank everybody for pulling up to the Real MVP late night show. As we was able to recap some more of the NBA free agency move that went down today. Goons, what's going on, my bro? Oh, I'm so sorry, Goons. I be so late on my comments. I got to get better. We'll read them. What's up, Real Goons TV? Shout out to you, brother. Thanks for pulling up. So sorry I missed your comment earlier. Make sure I highlight that one. And again, thank y'all for pulling up. Before you leave, though, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, share the video, help your boy get in the algorithm, hit the notification bell, drop a comment. And always, man, y'all be cool, be safe. Also, you see the banner. Been scrolling down there the entire time. If you didn't see it, this is a business, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I do ask that everybody do these minor things to help the channel grow, to help just the professionalism on my end grow. The bigger this thing gets, the better I'll get as well. And as well, hit the cash out, man. Tony the Savant. A lot of intellectual property goes into this, a lot of hard work. Again, I'm gonna be giving y'all the quality, the utmost, the best I can give with what I got so far, and always be have a thirst for more, of course. But all proceeds go towards the building of the channel, and so I definitely would appreciate that. We're not asking for money, we're asking for investments. And so the people that grow with this channel, the people that grow with me, of course, I would love for y'all to sow seeds into the game, and I'll definitely make sure you reap the benefits when we start growing. Got a lot of stuff in the works, on the plans, as far as building a studio, having events, networking events. I work with a number of guys. I don't want to just keep rattling on, but nonetheless, I just want to thank everybody for all the love and support. I definitely thank y'all for pulling up to the show tonight. We'll get back to work tomorrow. Like again, we're getting into football season, and there's a couple boxing topics that we got to get out of the way as well. But until then, thank y'all. Have a good to great night. I am Tony the Savant. Peace.